Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Today it's going to be a match between Dark and Maru here on Acropolis, the latter edition from their round 1 of BlizzCon Best of 5. Let's see, the quarterfinals? Yes, the quarterfinals of BlizzCon. Alright man, top left-hand corner is the red Zerg player. It is Dark. And he is scary, and in the bottom right, it is the blue Terran player Maru, who is additionally scary, but not as scary recently because, I don't know, he just has these games where he doesn't really show up or look really that sharp, and other times he looks unstoppable. So, which Maru do we get in this game is the question. This is game 1 from their Best of 5 series they played, so I threw out the Best of 5. This isn't at all the Best of 5, though. I'm just doing the first game. And we'll see how exciting it is. We'll see what we're looking at. I'm going to be honest, I missed this series live. I caught a lot of BlizzCon on twitch.tv/StarCraft, but I think when this was up, I'm pretty sure, what was I doing? I think I was making dinner for my kids. I think we were eating together. So some things are worth sacrificing for, y'all. Spend time with your family, if you got one. I understand some people don't have families, but I don't know. Family's what you make it. I think is a lesson of a lot of movies that I can think of growing up. This is getting kind of deep and depressing. Anyway, Maru! What do we got, man? Maru's tossing up a barracks, and he's probably going to make a Reaper. There's really not much else you can do in the early ZVTs other than skip it. Sometimes you can just skip it, man. Okay, not doing that. This Reaper's name is Euron Greyjoy. Euron Greyjoy was a pirate, a sea ravager, who could appear anywhere the plot demanded him to be, and the slayer of a dragon. He was not sent to the Reaper program for any of these things. Nope, he was sent for being the worst character ever to disgrace the Game of Thrones. Wow, he has a lot of competition for that title, my guy. Euron Greyjoy sucked. Like, I will agree with you on that one, whoever wrote this, but man, there are some worse characters. But start to finish, ooh, that's tricky, because a lot of characters started out great and ended poorly. But for who started out dumb and ended dumb, you know what? It might just be Euron. You might be right. You may have brought me around to your way of thinking, sir. I'm going to hop on up here into the main base, which is not generally what Reapers do, but you know what? Let's do it anyway. Dude, Dark is going for that quick hatch. Okay. Right then. Sneaking on in and kablooey, kablooey, kablooey. Yeah, man, there's nothing here to stop this. The Queen is late, forcing one drone to turn itself into an extractor. Another drone does go down. Woo! One kill on a Reaper is a huge win for Maru. That is a massive win for Maru. Getting a drone never happens. Never happens in ZVT. Maru managed to pull it off. This appears to be a game in which he's playing awesome. He's going for a quick third command center here. I guess he probably knows, based on the fact there were no lings, that Dark was getting a third of his own. He's going to scout it to be sure and sees it and says, alright. So yeah, my third command center is not going to be too aggressive and lead me to die by any stretch. Hellion production has begun. Starport coming in. So 1-1-1 with an extra command center built in there. 2 command centers going in there, in fact. Overlord scouts that the Reaper is coming up. Queen gets into position, and these early shots are big. If you don't get those early shots off, the Reaper can probably dance around the outside and get a better scout off, but those early shots mean the Reaper can't do that without dying, and he's forced to pull back. So the reaction time from Dark was insane. That's the kind of stuff I'm not really capable of as a player, I don't think, is having an Overlord here when a Reaper comes in, immediately responding with my Queen and getting it up to the edge of the creep. That's just not stuff that I do. It's sad, but just recognizing the little places in my game where I don't ever see myself getting to that point is, it's a thing. Anyway, it's a mood, as the kids would say today. 7 drones in production at a time for Dark. Not going for a lair, not going for a Roachhorn or a Baneling Nest or anything. He is just sincerely droning his face off. Maru needs to slow this down or take a third base of his own, which he did, by the way. So maybe he's going to be all right, but the longer he leaves Dark alone, the scarier it's going to get. Ling's checking around for proxies, because the Overlord scout is pretty much this guy who's going to die any second now because the Viking is shooting him directly in the face. Or is that hitting him in the face? Yeah, it is, I think. Well, some of it in the side of his body. Yeah, the animations for Zerg units that are attacking. Goodbye, Euron Greyjoy. We knew thee well. It's a cool thing, right? When something attacks something else in StarCraft, it doesn't just hit the same spot every time. It'll just kind of move around and hit the front, hit the back, hit the side. It's one of the things I appreciate about the work that's done in the animation in StarCraft. Like, you can't, for all the things you can fault Blizzard for and Activision Blizzard for, especially, like, they don't skimp on visuals at all. It's how they built their empire, was having their games look really great. And it's what's keeping them afloat now, is just the beauty of their cinematics, the beauty of their gameplay, the simplicity of it, and the complexity that's hidden beneath it. And that's why they survive. So Maru's third base is now landing. I guess he just did a couple mules and built some SCVs with it until then. It's just going to be bioplay out of Maru here. Nothing too crazy. Creep spread, trying to make stuff happen. Drone, are you expanding? I don't know what else you're going to be doing with your life drone. And he is. Alright, kind of overshot the target there, but that's okay. Viking trying to kill overlords up here by the third. That gets shoved away by queens, because queens are the best units in the game. I don't know, Marines versus queens. The thing is, Marines scale better. Over time, their upgrades get super scary good. Queens upgrades, eh. They're really good early game, but they kind of lose their effectiveness late game. Transfuse is great. Yes, and that's something late game queens have that early game queens don't have a lot of. I don't know. I just think cost for cost, I think Marines, especially fully upgraded, are going to beat the crap out of queens. But cost for cost, early game, unupgraded Marines versus queens, right? 150 minerals worth of queen and 150 minerals worth of Marines. I think the queens win that. Or the queen wins that. So here we go. Stim up. Queens don't like this. They're outnumbered on that number. A couple overlords go down. Dark does get supply blocked, which totally sucks. Don't lose a medevac. Maru, these are the things he's been doing in games that he loses. He'll just lose a medevac for no reason. Like, there's no reason to lose that there. He swings around, kills some tumors. It's a good poke, is what it was. Dark does have banelings, because of course he does. And Maru's not just going to win with this push like other players do against me on ladder. But it was scary. It was scary, but in the end, Dark is fine. His fourth base is coming up. We got ourselves a Viking patrolling around for overlords. And Maru, is he doing anything but bio? We see combat shield. We see more barracks. We see +1/+1 coming in. So, no, man. Maru's going to play the bio play, which is, I mean, not even any Widow Mines. This is Wings of Liberty style stuff, man. Medevacs and Marines have been around since the beginning of StarCraft. StarCraft 2, anyway. And if you count dropships, then StarCraft 1 as well. Got some tanks in the mix. He's really just kind of Wings of Libertying it up at the moment. No sign of Widow Mines. No sign of Liberators. It's just Vikings, Marines, tanks, and medevacs. This is kind of cool from Maru. I like it. So he's going to go ahead and drop in the main. This is a pretty big drop in the main. Is he going to siege up his tanks? He is going to siege up his tanks. He feels like he can handle it. He needs to protect those tanks, though. Queen's not going to trade well. Did not protect the tanks. They're going to go down, but the spawning pool does get out of there, too. So 2 tanks in exchange for a spawning pool, as well as a medevac, which is full of Marines. Not super full, but enough. Did any drones go down there? No. Pretty much 2 drones have been killed this entire game. And by that, I mean that's exactly how many drones have gone down in this entire game. Lings are ready to rock, though. So, I mean, not really a great decision to go back in there, but hey. Keep the pressure on Dark as much as he can. Killing his spawning pool sucks. He already has another one almost done, though, because he recognized the threat that it was under and got that started in case he needed it. And he obviously has. Infestation Pit coming up on Dark's side of the map. And Dark's taking a 5th up towards the north here. Do we see any? Nah, man. Marine Tank Medevac. He's playing this 2011 style, man. This is kind of crazy out of him. Sensor tower up. Third base happily running. A 3-basing Terran back in Heart of the Swarm was abjectly terrifying. Beyond won so many games just because once he got his third base up, his production was insane. And he just kept the pressure on until you died. Especially Zergs, man. Especially Zergs. I watched so many of my favorite StarCraft players, favorite Zergs, die to Beyond in situations like that. He'll be back one day. I believe that is the plan. Dark expanding again up to the north. That's 2 expansions. And Maru has not expanded in a while. Yeah, this group, a couple Marines go down. Pretty good pickup time from Maru, keeping those dudes alive. Hive on the way. Now, this is where it gets scary for Maru. A hiving Zerg who's able to get out things like Ultras will crush your Marine heavy composition. You got to have a lot of tanks. You got to have Marauders, a lot of Marauders. You got to have Ghosts. You got to have Liberators if you're going to take this down. Although, based on the fact there's a Nidus, I'm not sure that Ultras are what we're planning on here. But sure, Nidus heavy play. Why not? It's 2019. Niduses are getting nerfed. In the load and the unload times, as well as the cooldown when you can build another Nidus, are all being nerfed. We'll see how that affects the meta in the coming weeks here. The patch might already be out, to be honest. I don't know. I cast these things about a week in advance, and so who knows? Actually, you know what? This is gonna post sometime. Yeah, about a week. Whatever. Time is a construct. Yeah, man. I mean, Dark's at 76 workers. Maru's at 77, and he does have a 4th base, which is nice. So we're definitely getting into late game here. Maru was able to get there entirely on the back of Marine Tank Medevac. That's it. That's all he made. So let this be a lesson to you. You don't need to make anything but Marines, tanks, and Medevacs to hold your own in the first 10 minutes versus a Zerg player. Now, as I said, Ultras would have a field day with this. Baneling's going to do pretty well, too, based on the tank setup. Vipers in production, whether for Dark Swarm or rather for Blinding Cloud. Brood War terminology slipping in there. Nidus coming up, but there's a tank, and the tank should be able to wipe that out, no problem. Yeah, just kind of... Oh, the tanks? Ah, remember what I said about their positioning, and how that matters. It matters. Yeah. Nidus down. There was a time the Nidus armor was high enough that that could not happen. Oh, look at the juke here from Byun, though. Wow, I just called him Byun. Maru, I hope that's a compliment. Tank shutting down that Nidus. Tacking on into Maru's 5th. Tank Marine pretty good against this Hydra Baneling thing. Where are you guys even trying to drop? Places? Say the Marines. Oh, it's an evacuation. Dark decides he can't even hang on to this base up north. All right. We're doing okay here. +2/+2 is done for the Marines. +2 melee attack. And +2 armor is done for Dark. Missile attack level 1 coming in too. Yeah, these Niduses are not doing anything for Dark. I was going to say, there was a time that Nidus had enough armor that one tank couldn't actually kill it before it came up. That was insane. I think that lasted maybe a patch to where they put it, they lowered the armor on it so that now one tank can't take it down if you see it early enough. It's entirely possible. Blinding Cloud on these tanks. There's only 1 tank siege. Make it a 2-tank siege, but too much Zerg there. Parasitic Bomb on the Medevacs, jumping into the other Medevacs here. Maru not splitting very well. No, Medevacs falling out of the sky. Maru forced to push back into his own main base. He does fall back there. Army supply definitely favoring Dark here. He's going to replace his hatch up north, which is a really big deal for him. And it is an Ultralisk Cavern on the way. So, I've cast games in the past where it's just like, man, Ultras showed up, or Broodlords showed up, and Terran's just dead because they don't have any ghosts, or... Right, they don't have any ghosts. They don't have... Well, ghosts are actually the answer to both of those, so... I recommend ghosts. Byun would recommend ghosts. This is a very Byun-centric cast for some reason. If Samarkand is watching, he'll appreciate it. Byun, I think, is his favorite player. He does love those Terrans. Got Lings burrowing in places. Maru's trying to expand. The creep spread is pushing out at different angles here. Maru just feels a little bit constricted right now. He is making 4 Marauders at a time and getting 3/3. Okay, that's going to help a lot versus these Ultras, is having a bunch of Marauders with good upgrades. Now, maybe don't lose the Marauders first. Maybe don't let them get surrounded by the Sling Bane Hydra composition you're dealing with. Trying to expand down this way. Nope, burrowed Zergling, and there's creep coming in. Maru's got to be hating this right now. He's got to be so frustrated. SCVs, is that sacrificial? Those got to be sacrificial SCVs to free up supply for other stuff. A fusion core on the way. And hey, Marines, just by walking up, going to try to take down this hatch at the north side. They're not going to... Oh, the Lings are going to leave them alone to the point where maybe they can get it. Ah, they stem up. Hatchery, no! Zergling upgrades, too good. They do have adrenal glands. That helps immensely. North side base lands for Maru for a 5th, which is really important for him at this point. And then Lings show up and immediately try to murder it. Again, Marauders, fantastically bad against Zerglings. The Marines are a whole lot better in that situation. Vipers out. We're looking at anabolic synthesis for Ultralisk speed being researched. A Spire coming in. Dark just feeling really confident right now. He hasn't really been bothered all that much by anything that Maru has been able to throw at him. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this saying, I don't know what Maru can do. He's got Liberator range coming in, advanced ballistics. The Marauder count is heavy. So I think the fact that Dark hasn't made any Ultras yet indicates he knows the Marauder count is high, and he knows Liberators are on the way. So Ultras, really good if your opponent's stuck on Marine. Not so good if they've diversified a little bit. So Greater Spire going to be the follow-up choice here out of Dark, making that inside the main base. Dark sneaking down the left side, but Maru's positioning is such that he at least knows where the Zerg player is. Ooh, gets a bit surrounded there. A little bit surrounded. Oh, this is so many Zerglings. All right, well, Ling Bane's crashing in. Blinding clouds going down on top of everything. The Planetary Fortress is trying to hold against this. The SCVs are now starting to repair as hard as they can, but the Baneling hits are too much. The Hydras are too much. The Planetary Fortress does end up going down. Baneling's crashing on SCVs left and right, but mostly right. And that's 20 SCVs and a base down. Dark with the Blinding Cloud. Dark with the Banelings on top of the SCVs. Maru just lands his orbital command that he had right next door and says, get back to work, you guys. Dark has expanded to the southern side. He is sitting happily on 4, 5, 6, 7 bases at the moment. Another knight is trying to come up. That tank that was there originally is not there anymore, ladies and gents. So, another tank has showed up, and that's going to erupt. The question is get anything done? The answer is no. At this stage of the game, if anything Terran gets over there before it erupts, it's not really getting anything done, and that's what we saw. So, Viper's out. One Ultralisk in production. So, in addition to, well, I guess it's just the one that he has. Yeah, one Ultra. He got the Anabolic Synthesis upgrade for one Ultralisk, which seems bad. But, I mean, it's Dark. What are we going to complain about with this guy, honestly? He's playing this extremely, extremely well. Maru trying to hold on. A Knight is coming up the back line here of Maru's main base. But again, if anything finds it, it's done, especially with the upgrades we're seeing here out of Maru today. He's got the +3 attack for his infantry units. +2 vehicle attack is done too. Top right-hand base going to try to hold on with the Planetary Fortress, of the Baneling count is just too high. Yeah, no, Liberators show up too late for that. And another base goes down. Just no vision up that way. He doesn't have a sensor tower watching that. He didn't have anything scouting it coming in, and as a result, the Planetary Fortress is done. But that's why Maru has backup bases, so we can just land them. Sure, they're not planetaries, but they can receive resources as good as a planetary can. So here's the one Ultra, which, yeah, he's super dead thanks to steady targeting. Nice attack from the top side, the flank from Dark. Getting stuff done, but again, pulling back, saving his units for when he's not in a perfect position. This is something I can learn in my own gameplay is pulling back, maybe. When you're on the attack, maybe don't always commit everything all at once. If you don't like what you see, pull back and try again later. That's what Dark's been doing. And like this is a lot later, and he enjoys it very, very much. Getting on top of those tanks, another Nidoswarm dies inside the main. I'm not even sure what killed this one, to be honest. Was it SCVs? Something totally killed that, and I don't know what it was. Nidoswarm in the center of the map gets picked off by Maru. So Maru's down 199 to 169 supply. Not very good. He does have, he's only about down 4 army supply, though, so that's better. Ghosts in production. Again, I said ghosts are what he needs. No more Ultras on the way. Dark has decided Ultras are not great, and he is not wrong about that one. But 21 Banelings in production, because, hey, I heard you like Banelings, so I put Banelings in your Banelings. Which is actually something you can do in the Heart of the Swarm campaign. When Banelings explode, they release 2 smaller Banelings that also explode. It's insanely good. Alright, here we go, tacking on in. Just too much Zerg here for Maru is the question. Is it enough? Another base goes down. 17 SCVs die, and Dark pulls back. Just careful as you please. Zergling trying to kill this top right base. And Liberator has a pretty good day with that, killing 8 units. 76 Lings in production and 8 Corruptors, though. Maru is just not able to keep up economically here. He's not able to keep up with the production. He's spending his money really well. But Dark just has a bit of a bank. Every time he loses stuff, he can replace it with whatever he needs. He makes the Corruptors to deal with a Liberator count that's a little bit higher than maybe he was prepared for the last time. And sure, it's 49 workers for Maru, but I mean, mules are good. The income is not that far off from what Dark is able to pull off. The problem is that Maru has not been able to push onto the creep or push to the other side of the map at all in the last couple minutes here. And he needs to. He needs to clear creep. He needs to take down a hatch if he can. It's so intimidating when this stuff happens from all directions. Lings from the top side, Banelings and Hydras from the left, Corruptors in to deal with the Liberator. Steady targeting, trying to figure out what to attack here. There's a lot of good targets for these ghosts. And once again, Maru holds off the advancing horde, killing a couple of those Corruptors. Nicely done. Corruptor count is at 2 at the moment for Dark. He is making another Ultralisk for some reason. Dark is taking an 8th base. So that's happening. Once again, Liberator really good at killing Zerglings, but fire rate is slow. So you one-shot him, but you only attack once every second and a half. Ah, the flank attack of Lings and Banelings getting on top. The Ghosts are... Maru needs to keep these alive. He cloaks them. He runs, but the Overseers are here. The Ghosts get picked off by the Zerglings and the Hydras. That's a huge win, and that's your good game. Dark gets your victory, and Maru taps out in game number 1, giving Dark that 1-0 lead. And again, we are not actually going to be casting the entire series today, unfortunately, but what a great game 1 that was. Maru held his own. Sure, as the game went on, it just got harder and harder for him to do much of anything, unfortunately, but hopefully some of the changes we see in the upcoming patch will help Terran and slow down Zerg a little bit. And the Nidus play didn't even do anything. I mean, what it did was keep Maru, make him keep some units at home a little bit, but I'm not sure that was the reason that Dark won the game. Yeah, amazing. The Ultras were bad. The Banelings were really, really good. Resources lost about 41,000 for each, but when Dark's on 8 bases and Maru is kind of tenuously holding to 4 or 5, just do the math, you know. 19 SCBs at the end of the game, too. 93 workers died for Maru. That's an insane number. And he only killed 6 drones. That's just not going to do it. It's not going to do it in a ZVT. Nyam, nyam, nyam. All right, what are we looking at? 177 Marines down, 16 Ghosts, most of them at the end there. 2 Planetary Fortresses, an Orbital Command, 1 Ultralisk, 6 Corruptors out, 5 Vipers, 667 Zerglings, almost the mark of the beast there. 10 Nidus Worms died. I guess some of those are in the middle of the map. 2 hatcheries did get killed in the spawning pool, but not enough drone kills, I think. Maru needed more of those early on. Late game, it was a mess, and I mean, he maybe should have gone for the nuke style, right? We've seen that win, and he's capable of it. We've seen him do it against Cyril in the past, but not today. I'm not sure why. I think he had time to get there. He had the ghost count, just make a couple nuclear silos and go for it, but wasn't interested and ended up tapping out. So great map awareness from Dark, good macro, just insane ability to continue finding ways to attack, and then if he can't win, just pulling back and saving his stuff for another day. That's all it took to get the win here today. Hoorah! All right, well, that's going to be it from me today. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.